Hi, my name is Sergio Pellegrini. I work as a EURES advisor in Switzerland, the French part. I've been working for the EURES network for more than 15 years today. I will present to you a certain number of characteristics of Switzerland, ranging from its geographical location and to its labor market. So let's start. So Switzerland, as you maybe know, it's not a member of the EU. We have bilateral agreements, and that makes Switzerland part of the free movement area in Europe. So you have the EU and the EFTA. EFTA is Norway, because we have bilateral agreements with Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is this small country that you find to the east, the far east of Switzerland. So as I said, we have bilateral agreements with EU, and you can come to work in Switzerland freely. We just have permit numbers. If you want, we limit actually the access of Switzerland for just one country in Europe. So the time at the moment where you get a contract, an employment contract, you go to the place where you live, and you become and you receive the permit. We call not anymore the work permit, because it's not a work permit, is a stay permit, but it is a detail. So you don't have to have the permit before the job. You have to get the job before. So if you want, we can start with some features and characters, key features, key profile of Switzerland. The neighbors, as you can see, are Italy, France, Germany, and Austria. We have this small country called Liechtenstein. Our main commercial partner are the EU, of course, the USA, the UK, and then China and the rest of the world. So we export our goods. Most of them are exported to EU. So EU is a very important client for us. But as you can see on the slide, Switzerland is a very important client for European Union, because we are the fourth main partner of EU. And we are just 9 million inhabitants, or we will be very soon 9 million inhabitants in Switzerland. Switzerland is surrounded, as you see, by a lot of countries, and we have a lot of commuters. So around now, because though this slide has been made in 2021, so now the number of commuters has raised to 400,000 people. So Switzerland is a very attractive country, and as it's in the central. It's central in Western Europe. A lot of people want to come in Switzerland, but even if the salaries are higher than to other places in Europe, except from Luxembourg, I think that Luxembourg or Denmark are like us. Actually, the cost of living it's high, as we will see after. So Switzerland has. As you can see, the 9 million inhabitants, and among those 9 million inhabitants, we have something around a quarter of foreigners. Foreigners among UE, EU, European Union, or the rest of the world. So we say the rest of the world if you're not part of the EU. So a quarter, 25% around is a little bit less. It's a lot. So we know how to deal with foreigners. We have a long experience, a long traditions with people, with countries, actually, migrants around us, not migrants from outside Europe, but a lot of experience with Italian, Spanish, now Portuguese. So we know how to integrate the foreign people. Now, here you have some important information about languages. Switzerland is a very special country because we have 4 national languages and 3 officials. The official languages, the one that you can find on the official web pages of Switzerland. So the 3 officials are German. As you can see, most of the territory, the Swiss territory, is a German speaking area, so 63%. And then you have the west part of Switzerland, where I come from, which is the French area. And in the south, you see the Italian part, which is 8%. Then there is a 4th national language, which is not an official language, which is Romansh. So this is very important to understand that actually we are very much connected to our languages. So coming to Switzerland and just knowing English, it's okay for big companies, but not small companies. This is very important because we are not like northern countries. Northern countries are more, we would say, they accept more people coming from abroad and not knowing languages. I don't know, the Danish or the Norwegian or the Finnish, I don't know. But in Switzerland, we're very much connected to our languages. And it's important when a person comes, the person can come with the English, but very soon this person will have to integrate herself or himself in the society with the language. So we expect them to do that, but not straight away, but in a short term. Some other information. So we have areas in Switzerland, and we call them cantons. Canton means area, if you want to just to remember that. The capital city is Bern. You might not know the name of our president because every year is different, because we have a very special political system, which is not very important for you. What is important for you is that the taxes actually systems are different in every area. So you see 26 cantons, you have 26 fiscal taxes systems. So that's why I'm not going to speak about those systems, because we're here at in the EURES network. We don't talk about very much taxes, but we talk about social security systems. So you see the picture of our current president. We vote and we can be elected at 18 years old, or from 18 years old. Now, some information about the labor market. You see the unemployment rate is now low, or we can consider that it's low. It has been lower than that. It has reached 1.9 actually %. But currently there is an economic situation that is not top of the top. So it's not bad, but it's not top of the top. So we have 2.4 unemployment rate. For the youth, unemployment is 2.7. It's one of the lowest in Europe. And as you can see, there are some percentage show that Switzerland is a very it's a country that is connected to the outside. We're very much interested of people that know our language, but we work with a lot of foreigners, so we know how to do this, and this is not an issue for us. And as I said, 400,000 commuters, so people living in France, in Austria, in Germany, in Italy, coming to work in Switzerland and coming and going back to their countries at the end of the day or at the end of the week. Actually, what is very important to understand is that Switzerland is a very small country, and we don't have much very much I would say soil resources. So we're not going to count on that. If you compare Switzerland with other countries or other continents. Some countries have a lot of resources in their soil. The resource of Switzerland is the brain. So that's why it's very important that when people come to Switzerland, they are high educated, actually. Now let's go or move to the working condition. In our legal or work laws, which is very liberal, we have to, I would like to say, and I would like to inform people that are listening to this presentation that Switzerland is a very liberal country. That doesn't mean that the workers are not protected. On the contrary. So we have this work law that says that the minimum of weeks, holidays that you can get is 4 weeks. But actually, most of the companies now give at least 5 weeks. So the minimum is not, because in the law, the minimum is 4, but now all the companies give more, and even 6 weeks. So we are more from 5 weeks to 6 weeks holidays per year. The working times are from 40 to 45, as you can see. Is a very flexible labor market. What does flexible mean? We are not like some southern countries where when you are employed, you cannot be fired unless you have done something very, very bad. So for us in Switzerland, you can be fired or dismissed for any reason. If the employer wants you dismiss your contract or want you to leave the company, he can do it for whatever reason. Then we have the law that can protect you against an abuse of this decision. But when the dismissal is given, it's given. That's why we talk about flexible labor market. So we have full-time and part-time jobs. Part-time jobs are growing, statistically speaking, and we see that the part-time job, even because part-time job is a fact of women, and we have to say that it's a pity, but it's like that. But now men go to more and more to part-time jobs. There is no minimum wage, and when I say that, I'm not exactly and I'm not totally accurate, because we have 5 areas in 5 cantons. I was talking about cantons in Switzerland that have minimum wages, but those minimum wages are not economical wages but social wages. So anyway, we have 5 areas where you cannot pay someone above, beneath, or under a certain salary. So we can move on, and here on this slide you can see an example of pay slip. So on the right you see the gross salary. The gross salary is the salary that it's on the contract. For example, here we have 5,823 francs. When you do all the deductions of the laws, because laws of the social security says that the employer has to do those deductions, the social security deductions, normally you get, as this is an example, 4,733. What is important to understand is that in many countries of Europe, everything is deducted, even the health insurance. In Switzerland, health insurance is not deducted from the salary. So you have to pay that aside the salary. So when you go down, so you have the percentage, which are not very, very important now that you learn a little bit about Switzerland. But as you can see, there is the taxes. When you go down and you reach the level of the minus withholding tax, we have no information to give you about this, because it depends on the area. So it could be a lower or a bigger amount of a low or a big amount of money there, because it depends on the area. You have some areas that are rich, and so the taxes are less important, and some areas in Switzerland that are not so rich, so the taxes are a little bit higher to give to people that need this money. So you see, net salary, it says at the end of the last actually line, you have net salary, and then you have minus monthly health insurance. And monthly health insurance go when you're not retired, but when you are retired, actually the premiums that you have to pay for health insurance are higher. So it goes from 250 to 300. But now those minimum raised those last years. So it's more around 300 to 400 Swiss francs that you have to deduct to the net salary. So you see that we started from 5,800, and then if you deduct 300 of the net salary, you have 4,400 Swiss francs, and we didn't deduct the taxes. So the taxes depend on the area. So you see that it goes very, very quickly down from the beginning, because if you see only the gross salary, people can interpret this or say that, yeah, it's good to live in Switzerland, but then you have to know what is really going to stay or what you are going to have in your pocket. Because actually, for everybody, it's the same. You didn't pay the rent, you didn't pay your food, and etc., etc. And this is those costs are very high in Switzerland. So now let's go and let's move to the Swiss labor market, because this is actually the core and the central of the presentation, the center of the presentation. So of course, in every country, we have a lot of jobs in every area. So salesperson, in restaurant areas and in building areas. So every country has, jobs that are not, that do not demand a lot of qualification. But in Switzerland, as I said previously, we need people that are higher educated, because we work not all the areas, but we have a high level of services. The industry is good in Switzerland. We have industries where people can work there, like watch industry, mechanic industry, but most of it, we have services. We sell services, actually, in Switzerland. So here, so I said here, coming to the Swiss labor market shortages, this slide shows you actually what are actually the main areas in Switzerland where we can hire people and we can pay them, and we have a demand, a high demand. So we see the chemicals and pharmaceutical industry. So in that area, we most of it we are looking for medical and scientific experts, quality manager, pharmacologists, immunologists, chemical lab technicians, chemical engineers. So those kind of profiles. We have a big area of chemicals and pharmaceutical industry, and this area of this pharma industry is Basel. Basel is at the north, is in the north of Switzerland, the center north. And this is the area, almost the only area where we produce those products. So this is a very, very, very high demanding area, sector. We need specialists, as I said, and the salaries are very good. And this is the biggest, actually, area where we sell abroad. So this is an export, because Switzerland is, as a couple of other countries in Europe, an export country. So we sell our products And one of the biggest area is the chemicals and the pharma industry area. And a lot of our goods go in the EU and, of course, all over the world. So first shortages is the chemicals and pharma industry area. Then we have as now it's ironical because in every country of Europe we need a skilled worker for the health industry, the healthcare sector. So we need doctors, primary care doctor and emergency doctors, psychiatrists, geriatricians, sorry for my pronunciation, so doctors for elderly people, nurses and nurses and carers for the elderly people, hospital nursing staff, home care nursing staff, therapists, occupational therapists. So for a person who have handicapped, and physiotherapists. So the health sector industry is a big one, and we need a lot of people. But as in Europe, everybody wants the same profiles. We are in competition actually now. So health sector, very important in Switzerland. And if you have a qualification in this sector, and of course you speak one of the official languages in Switzerland, which are, I repeat, German, French, and Italian, you have a lot of chances, a lot of possibilities to work all over Switzerland. Now, we can go to the workers of the industrial sector. So the industrial sector in Switzerland is actually turns around 3 or 4 specific fields, which are the watch industry sector, which is very important. Everybody knows that in Switzerland we talk about cheese, we talk about chocolate, and we talk about watches. So we have a very, very big areas. We have very interesting areas where we produce watches. So those are from Geneva, going to Neuchâtel, going then to Jura, and going then to Basel area. So all this western part of Switzerland going up to the north, you have a lot of industry with watch watchmakers. Everybody knows Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Tissot, Omega, etc. So those industries are there. We need, apart from the watch industry sector, we have a mechanical area, which is very big. We sell all our engine and mechanical devices actually all over the Europe and the world. So we need mechanical technicians and engineers. We need automation engineers. We need specialists of watchmakers. So not just the person who assembles the watch, but watchmaker, a qualified watchmaker, and electronics technicians and engineer. So this is for the industrial sector, which is a big sector in Switzerland, but not the biggest. We have seen that the biggest is the pharma, and the biggest, not in number of workers, the biggest for selling, actually, for the amount of money that we actually get from abroad. So is the pharma industry. The health sector is very important, and the industrial sector. And now we can talk about the financial, because everybody knows that Switzerland is a bank country, but now we're facing, and everybody has I don't know, maybe you haven't heard about the Credit Suisse situation, but Credit Suisse has disappeared. Not the name of Credit Suisse still exists, but UBS, the bank UBS, has taken over Credit Suisse. So for the moment, we are still a very, very high demanding country for this profiles. But those profiles have to be as I said, skilled workers as like financial advisors with experience in emerging economies, commodities trading specialists, and specialists in compliance, risk management, and IT regulation. So those are our financial sector's need. And for the moment, it's not a very, there are a lot of people working in insurances and in banks in Switzerland. But for the moment, the situation, as I said, with Credit Suisse has been a little bit actually lowering the demand of those profiles. But there is still a demand. Now we go on to the constructions, the building area. So this is an area where, I don't know, but there are ups and downs, of course, but it's always a sector where we need workers. So qualified bricklayers, qualified electricians, qualified joiners, qualified carpenters, qualified welders, civil engineers. If you're qualified in this area, actually, you can come to work in Switzerland. And if you want to work, actually, there is a lot of work in the construction and building area. But if you're not qualified, it's going to be difficult. But do remember that actually the language is important, but now we have a lot of communities that are in the building area. So if you're Portuguese and you want to come to Switzerland, it's easier if you're Spanish, if you're Italian, because people that work in those areas are those people. So it's easier. But if you're from Denmark, coming to the building area could be problematic because of the language. Otherwise, if you speak French and you're qualified, there is French or German or Italian. I think there are opportunities. So if we move now to the HoReCa, so hotel, restaurant, and catering industry, of course, this is an area where since the COVID, actually, we have a lot of demand. So service person at the service, waiters, waitress, service assistants, cooks, chef de rang, we say chef de rang, so is a waiter that has a responsibility of, I don't know, a couple of tables or a part of the restaurant, head waiters, assistant cooks, people that know wines and like to serve people. So waiter and waiters and cooks are welcome in Switzerland, but of course, you need to practice one of the official languages. So now, if we move on to actually the profile that we really don't need much, you can see that we have the surpluses. So the surpluses in general are people that are not qualified. It's not because we don't want people that are not qualified, because we have a lot of people that are not qualified. In every country, there are people that are not qualified, and it's good, it's not bad. But it's difficult then to get a job and to have a good salary, because everything is connected to the way you live. Because if you go to a country and you cannot live with your salary, your life will be tough. So in general, as it's written on the slide, not having a degree in Switzerland can be an obstacle for finding a job. And few jobs require low qualification, low salary conditions, competition from cross-border commuters. So this competition actually is very important. So I would advise that if you are not qualified, ask the specialist, ask EURES Switzerland. You can go on Google and you say ask Switzerland. You can go on the EURES portal actually to get in contact with us, and you just ask, do you need people like me? And you send us the CV and we will say to you if yes or not. So cleaners, shop assistants, call center agents, people that bring food to restaurant or to people, like all over Europe in this at this moment. So we have a lot of person like that, but it's not impossible actually to have a job in Switzerland. Now, of course, if you think of coming to Switzerland is to get a job. So how to look for a job in Switzerland? So here we have a page, a web page, So if you go on Google and you type job room, you will actually find the place where people can understand, can learn about how to apply in Switzerland. So this web page, I would advise this web page for people to understand, to know better, because all countries are different. All countries are the culture of applying. And for Italy, maybe different, and it's actually different than in Switzerland. And even if most of the people in Switzerland speak German, actually applying in Germany and applying in Switzerland, it's not the same. So I advise to go to this page and to learn about it. But here, normally, we expect people that apply in Switzerland to send a CV that is understandable. So the CV that you have under your eyes is not a good example, actually, but it's just an example to how to apply. So you need a CV and you need a cover letter. The cover letter explains why you would like actually to work in Switzerland. And it's better if you write it in unofficial languages, again, as I said. You have a lot of tips, you have a lot of brochures, you have a lot of flyers that give you good and very useful information about how to apply in Switzerland. Because what is important for a person who is looking for a job is to get interviews. So the goal, actually, the purpose of the CV and the cover letter is not to get a job, is to get an interviews. So if you have a good CV and a good cover letter, applying letter, it's more easier to get a job, to get the interview. Sorry, to get the interview. Then when you are during the interview or on the interview, in the interview, you will find a way to sell your competences. But what is difficult for people that want to get a job in Switzerland is to get the interviews. So what I would advise is to really take care and have a good CV and a good cover letter to at least have this first job interview. So then there is another question. If you come from Norway, if you come from Italy, if you come from Greece, France, Portugal, and you say, okay, is my degree, is my diploma, is my certificate recognized? So here you have the different kind, actually, of qualification categories. So the categories of qualification where you can find and go to find and to get information in Switzerland. So we have the recognition of academic qualification, the recognition to exercise an occupation, and the continuing education and training. So the central, the recognition to exercise an occupation is very much so the sbfy.admin.ch. This is the place where you can find a lot of information about your qualification. Of course, we are not member of EU, but we are a part, we have agreements. So we are members of the EURES, the European EURES network. So there is we are 15 in Switzerland working for the EURES network. And so we have EURES Switzerland, and you can find us on internet with the website, the web page that you can read, this, which is Arbeit in German, and Swiss in English. So Arbeit.Swiss, and you can find there a lot of information about EURES Switzerland. And as I said, to ask us questions, you are more than welcome to ask questions about social security system. If you didn't get properly, what is actually what is exactly the social security system in Switzerland? Because the example was that I've done a couple of minutes ago was on a payslip, so maybe it's not very much accurate, or you didn't get actually what was the gross salary and the net salary, and it's in every areas or economic areas the same, etc. You can write to us to get more information. So you have flyers about living and working in Switzerland. You can get them on the portal, the European portal or the Swiss portal, EURES Switzerland on Google, and you will find a lot of information. So that was it for me. I wish you good luck in your job search, and if you have questions, do not hesitate to write to us. Goodbye, ciao, arrivederci, auf Wiedersehen.